After 6 weeks, the Saskatchewan legislative sitting has wrapped, and as expected, the pandemic did dominate the debate. And as the weeks went on, the government and the opposition increasingly lobbed shots at one another. CBC's provincial affairs reporter Adam Hunter joins me now to break it all down. 6 weeks done, and Adam, that pandemic certainly was the focus of the sitting. What were the key messages of the government and the opposition?
Well, Sam, we'll start with the opposition as they drive sometimes the conversation in the House. And Leader Ryan Miley really wanted to focus on the government's response to the third wave, which peaked in mid-April in Saskatchewan, saying that the government reopened things too early when variants of concern showed up in the province, which led to a rise in cases and, of course, caused for more restrictions in Regina because of the number of cases, rising ICUs. At one point, Ryan Miley asked the Premier and the Health Minister to tour the ICUs in Regina. They declined that invitation. But that was one of the main focuses of the opposition, as well as long-term care and preventing some of the cases and deaths that occurred in long-term care in the province. Now, on the government side, a different story. The government wanted to focus on vaccinations with, during different points during the sitting, Sam, Saskatchewan led in pace and also per capita rates of vaccinations for first doses across the country. The government really wanted to focus on that. And then later in the sitting, they wanted to focus on their reopen plan. Of course, the first province to announce a reopen plan, the stages of reopening as we get to different levels of vaccinations. And Premier Moe in his last scrum at the end of the sitting today really wanted to focus on that message about how important it is for people of Saskatchewan to get vaccinated.
And if we can just get a number of more weeks under our belt with respect to getting our vaccines out to Saskatchewan people, and Saskatchewan people continue to come in to receive those vaccines, we're going to be in a very, very good position in a very short period of time. And so I'd ask Saskatchewan people, just be as diligent as you have ever been with respect to the public health measures. And please, if your travel isn't essential and can be put off just a number of weeks here, we would ask you most certainly to do that.
So vaccines being the one major message. Of course, the province watching those numbers very closely, Sam, to get to those different points in their steps of the reopening, but also wanted to focus on its budget commitments, record spending in health, education, social services, and protection of people and property. But of course, that budget also brought with it a projected record deficit for 2020-2021.
Oh my goodness, that budget feels like it was a million years ago. Adam, the opposition has been critical of the government's COVID response. What did Ryan Miley have to say today?
Well, Sam, this has been an interesting development over the course of the last number of weeks as the opposition really seemed to direct attacks squarely on the Premier, the Health Minister, Minister of Finance, Minister of Education, but we're making those attacks more, I think, personal than they had been in the past. Ryan Miley was asked about that today and over the last number of days. He said he wanted to highlight that he thinks the province has done a bad job of managing both the COVID pandemic and helping people who are out of work right now. And he had more to say on what the NDP's plans are for the weeks ahead.
I'm really pleased with the discipline that our team brought, the emotion and energy, bringing forth the anger of Saskatchewan people and displaying that when it comes to the failures on COVID-19, the failures when it comes to getting people back to work. I think we brought the message we needed to bring, and we're going to continue that through the summer.
So Adam, what happens next?
Well, we had some interesting information today from Premier Moe. Of course, he was talking about what's ahead in the next few weeks. As I mentioned, the reopen plan. He was asked about comments he made today in the House about filling Mosaic Stadium, of course, the home of the Rough Riders, with the season projected to maybe start in late summer, sometime in August. And he said that he wanted to clarify that. He didn't mean completely fill the stadium with fans, but slowly and gradually add fans into this stadium as more people are vaccinated. He also talked about the guidelines in the States yesterday that came out about mask use, saying that he wanted to have masks removed as soon as possible, as long as it fit with the public health guidance. Of course, in the U.S., they're saying that if you're fully vaccinated, you can take your mask off after a few weeks of protection. That's something that Premier Moe would like to see. And also going ahead, we're expecting to still have our weekly updates with either the Premier, the Health Minister, and Dr. Saqib Shahab, who's updating us every week on the situation, of course, with COVID-19 in Saskatchewan. Sam?
Thanks so much for this, Adam. CBC political affairs reporter Adam Hunter in Regina tonight.